Autowire Classic Update Series, which is really great because this car is getting a Coyote and we need a wiring harness that can keep up with all that modern stuff. It has a few extra accessories. So this setup is really nice for that type of thing. I used an American Autowire kit on my 65 F100 when I was having issues with my headlight. It's not working on my old Ford. Fords have kind of a problem with modern halogen headlights where they just don't have enough power draw. So the light switch, the resistor in there kind of ticks in and out and you just get blinky headlights, which is looks like you're flashing your lights at people on the highway. It's not super fun. I don't recommend it. But I do recommend American Autowire's kit that has headlight relays in there that can actually pull power directly from the battery, and then the switch just acts like what it's supposed to be, a switch, and the power doesn't run through. There's no draw through that. It just pulls straight from the battery on the relays and makes your headlights work flawlessly. The wiring kit that they make is nice, like the wire sleeves are nice and thick, like their connectors are really good. All around, it's just a really great kit. I've had some experience with painless wiring. I did the Bronco behind us with painless as well. And I thought that kit was really great too, but American Autowire just, it feels like it's a little higher quality. So we are going to today unbox American Autowire kit for the 68 Fastback. So forgive me, YouTube, for I have sinned against not uploading a video every 25 minutes. So today, we're gonna play what's in the box. What is in the box? Let's find out. Open this guy up. So, this is called the Classic Update Series from American Autowire, and it's different from the stock kit because it obviously doesn't use a voltage regulator and it has like a really nice modern fuse box with mini fuses. So let's take a look at this, what we got here. It has this little mini instruction sheet, and what this does, and I looked at this a long time ago before I started assembling the steering column, because the relays for this kit actually screw into the brake pedal support, which mounts to the firewall. But it's really nice. Basically, all your relays bolt to the brake pedal support. So they're right there. You can kind of reach up and replace them if you ever need to. You kind of do that before you assemble the brake pedal setup. So I did that. I used the template that they included in here, and you basically, you know, line it up on the thing and you drill a couple holes so that you can mount the bracket for that. Those holes are there. It's already ready to accept those relays when the time comes to install the wiring harness. So that's what that's for. Again, this is the Classic Update Kit. It is 510055. Instruction manual set here, which kind of walks you through all the connectors. Yeah, there you go. That shows the dash wiring on, you know, more of a traditional dash and one that has more modern gauges going on in it, like autometers or such, or things like that. This is a great kit. The Classic Update Kit is really nice. It offers some modern convenience stuff over the stock wiring harness. I believe it's set up to be used with a single wire alternator, so you just have one charge wire coming from the alternator to the battery or the charging system itself. The other thing is everything on the Classic Update Kit, it's kind of pre-run. Like the lengths are somewhat pre-measured. I think you can, there's some adjustment there with it. And we are gonna take this kit and actually come out on the outside of the inner fender well and run the wiring up that way so that the engine bay is nice and clean. So I'm hoping it has enough room to do that. I believe it does. Instead of hacking up a classic Mustang's wiring harness, all this stuff is kind of preset and ready to rock. On the box, you'll see it says additional parts inside. What I did with that was I ordered these tools, which are set up for American Autowire's crimp ends. I wanted to really make some nice wire ends. I want to make sure all the wiring is just super solid, really well done, and I'm meticulous with that stuff. I'm super OCD, so this is the kind of thing that kind of suits my OCD-ness. Let's dig in, shall we? Actually, the first thing that's calling my name here is this alternator and main power connection kit. Again, I believe this is like the main power for the vehicle, other than the battery wire, which runs all the way to the starter solenoid. This is the main power wire that would come off the starter solenoid, go to this main fuse terminal, and then from this fuse terminal, we run into the fuse panel here. So having this mega fuse is really nice. If you get into an overcharging situation and your alternator is wanting to burn up your wiring harness, it's going to blow that fuse first, and then you can just replace your alternator, and you won't have to replace the entire vehicle, which is super rad. The other cool thing about the American Autowire stuff, and I don't know, maybe the other kits are like this too, but everything's in separate bags. So each section of the thing kind of allows you to work on one section of the car at a time. Before you dive into like the main wiring harness, like start with something like this, like the rear body harness kit. So this is really cool. You see it's got the leads for the tail lights here, so that should be a pretty easy thing to set up. The other thing this kit comes with that I know, somebody mentioned to me, and yeah, here it is a set of relays and all the fuses. And one thing, if you're running LEDs, I think the LEDs have to have specific flasher relays. I'm not sure if these are it. I think these are more the standard style. Yeah, the flashers are the standard. A lot of the LED, like, you know, sequential taillights and stuff like that come with their own relays. So you just put those into place where these go. It's really cool, comes with all that stuff. All these harnesses are all in separate bags, so it's really cool. This is the Ford forward headlamp harness. This is also kind of an easier one to run, and you can kind of work from the front of the car back, which is nice. So that's that one. And this one is, put this one, the engine harness kit, 64 to 68 Mustang Classic Update Series. Because this car is a Coyote build, the engine harness is probably irrelevant in this. We may not use it because all the wiring for a Coyote engine is kind of on the engine already. And then you have your engine wiring harness that comes off the ECU controller. It's nice that we have it. We might have to sacrifice a couple of these wires for something or save it for another project at another time. This is an instrument cluster harness here. That's kind of the next thing on this side of the kit. It is its own deal. Again, very awesome that they have the instrument cluster wiring separated out, so that we can make this kind of a workbench job, have the instrument cluster on the bench, work with it, and then it has those connectors that just plug into the main wiring harness and you're ready to rock, which is nice. Because working up under the dash on wiring is a real pain in the ass. This is the main harness. This is the main dog and pony show. And you can see where I did open this box to make sure that these relay setups worked on that brake pedal scenario. So that, like I said, bolts to that. The cool thing about this stuff is all these wires are pre-run for the most part and can go to the stock location. American Autowire has a kit that's more of a generic kit that you have to make all the ends. And I didn't really want to do that. I think in my mind, if I needed to extend some length or something, I could probably do that a little easier in one or two places rather than have to make all of it from scratch. So I'm excited to dive into this. Like I said, I'm probably going to start with a smaller section first and get our feet wet with it. This is one of the things that I'll probably be making videos on. And so now we're down to the dregs of the box. It does come with the dimmer switch, floor dimmer switch, which is really nice. Mustangs all have the floor actuated dimmer switch, just like all old school cars. What is this guy? Front side market connection kit. It says market, but I think that's a typo. I think that is the front side marker light connection kit for the 68 Mustang. Specifically, 68 up front has those side marker lights, and when you actuate the turn signal, they turn left and right. It's really a cool thing. I believe that's what these are, extensions for that wiring setup. These are spare connectors that probably go with the kit. They are numbered. I'm sure they're in the instruction manual. All right, the old Ford headlight switch. Headlight switch, various Ford models, classic update series. These headlight switches were never meant to carry like a huge amount of load that like a lot of those modern headlights use. So I don't want to assume, but I have a feeling that the way this kit is set up is that the power is drawn from the battery directly to the headlights. So you should be able to run halogen headlights. Most people nowadays are opting for the Holley Retro Bright LEDs, and that's what we're gonna run on this. They are expensive, but they pull way less power and they are way brighter than the old school lights. Driving in these old cars with the old dim taillights and headlights is a little dicey at times. It's fun if you wanna get your heart pumping. It does do that on the highway at night, but modern cars have a hard time seeing you because their lights are like way ridiculously bright. So anyway, headlight switch, long-winded way to say, I believe this is a actuation for the power wire that probably feeds the headlights, which is really cool. Ignition switch, old school keyed ignition. Obviously the key goes into this thing and then a bezel goes on the outside. That gives you the ignition switch to run, which is really awesome. A lot of things traditionally can kind of key off of your ignition switch. There's accessories, and then there's also that momentary on when you go to pull power to the starter that generally the key disables power to a lot of the other systems. There's some systems that need to remain on, but a lot of them are turned off so that all the battery power can go to starting the car. That's what this switch does, and that is, it looks like it's a standard old school Ford switch. And this guy is the washer wiper wiring from the 1967-68 Mustang Classic Update series. At any rate, there's the wiring harness for the washer wiper. So that's it. That's all that's there. Pretty cool setup. I hope that was a fairly decent unboxing video and explainer on what American Autowire offers in their kit. I got nothing but great things to say about American Autowire. I really liked the way they were set up and the way I used it on my 65 F100 for that headlight relay. Just worked flawlessly. So I decided when I was diving into this car that I would use American Autowire just because I liked the way the kit was set up. One thing I just realized is I don't think I've done a full walk around video of this car yet. Or like just a basic like, hey, here's my 68 fastback, blah, 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 blah. Let me know if you do want to see a walk around video. You can put it in the little like lower YouTube comment area where people chat about things. It's a cool car. We've done a lot of work to this thing, and maybe it would just help explain like where we are with the project. I am anxious to get this car on the road, but I'm also taking my sweet time. I have not really been able to post a lot of videos, but I'm going to try to be better about that because I know this is important stuff to share because I've been working on these cars for a very long time. So it's nice to try to share the processes that I've learned, the mistakes I've learned along the way, and you know, just knowledge I've learned from other Ford nerds. So that's been cool. Again, I have no sponsors, so this video is kind of like low-key what I like, and that's what's up. So yeah.